Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm Andy.
Happy Hanukkah. I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, Christmas and Hanukkah.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the holiday edition of Commander's Brew, episode 74.
Yes. If you're listening to this the day or night it comes out, it's probably the 21st. Christmas is right around the corner, and so is Hanukkah.
That's right.
Hanukkah is on the 24th of December
This year.
until January 1st this year.
Yeah.
When does that ever line up?
Yeah, right?
Like never.
Yeah, that's got to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Probably.
Maybe. I am very excited about this episode because everyone always does a Christmas episode. Not everyone, but like that's what we always see around this time of year. I feel like we don't get enough Hanukkah stuff, so like I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do both. Let's do a cool take on it. So that's what the show is. You know us. You know what's going on.
Yeah, we do two brews on a theme. The theme is holiday stuff. So we're
holiday stuff,
right? We're doing like the 12 days of Christmas, and sometimes you hear Hanukkah as 8 crazy nights.
Yeah,
K-N-I-G-H-T.
Ooh,
nights. I also probably should put this out there. I am not Jewish, and I had to do some research on what Hanukkah's all about.
Yeah.
So like, this is all self-taught stuff. So if I get a couple of things a little bit wrong,
that's okay.
That's why.
I'm not Christian, and if I get a few things about Christmas wrong here, also same thing.
Yeah.
Although I didn't research, it's just a life's work.
You know what though? I've
getting gifts.
I've played dreidel before.
Yeah. Okay.
For Smarties.
Let's go. That's nice.
Which are like Canadian M&Ms.
Okay, that's a weird thing with Canada and the U.S. We have different things. We have different ideas of what Smarties are.
Yes. If I say Smarties and you're in Canada, you're thinking of candy-coated chocolate. Buttons, and they're
similar
to M&Ms.
Very similar to M&Ms, except I'd say a bit crunchier, right?
Yes, the shells are much thicker.
And like the overall body of the bead is thinner.
Yes, it's a wider disc. It's flatter.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a crispier, like crunchier bit.
Yeah. Where if I say Smarties and you're American, you're thinking of those.
You're thinking of what we call rockets.
Yeah, in Canada we call those rockets, and they're those like sugar pellets that are sort of like. They're
Halloween,
almost like
classic Halloween.
Classic Halloween. They come in a tube, and you pull the ends and it unravels, and they're all they're all pale colors.
Pastels.
They're all very pale, in color, and they all kind of taste the same.
Yeah, there are flavors for sure, but you're right. They're mostly sugar, so they just kind of all taste the same.
Yeah, I just put them all in my mouth and chew.
Yeah, so we have Smarties and Rockets, and you guys only have Rockets, really. Because we also get M&Ms. It's not like we're even trading off there.
Right. So we're talking about 3 candies, 2 of which exist in the U.S.
Yeah. So we're getting an extra candy this way, which means we're the right ones.
Although we don't have Baby Ruths. Like we do. There's a lot of stuff we don't have.
We don't have Baby Ruths?
No,
we do.
I think they're imported.
No. Really?
A typical convenience store chocolate shelf won't have a Baby Ruth on it.
That is baffling to me. I did not know that.
When's the last time you ate a Baby Ruth?
Listen, I'm not a big chocolate bar guy.
Okay.
So
no, you don't have to have a Baby Ruth.
What's a Baby Ruth? Is that a nougat?
It's mostly nougat with a ton of nuts around it.
Forget it. I'm out. I'm out on nougat. I'm out on nougat right away.
Okay, what
give me a fudge. Give me a, this is the thing. I don't even really like caramel that much.
Oh.
I've never been a caramel fan. Although lately, you know what? I got to admit, caramel flavored things, I'm coming around on them a bit more these days.
Do you know I can't eat chewy toffees because
it tastes gross? Yeah, me neither.
No, there's something that when I chew into it, the way I can't even talk about it. It gets to my spine. It goes into my spine. It's like it's an aversion. I have an aversion.
Gets to your spine right away?
Yeah, like as soon as I can't even talk too specifically because if I start imagining it, I get chills.
Is it that like stickiness that hits your teeth,
and then the pull, and then the rip,
the pull out?
It is awful.
I
can't
look
do it.
So tense talking about it too.
I am. My shoulders are.
Your
so
shoulders
high.
are. Yeah, you gotta relax those.
Oh gosh, I can't do it. Yeah, gummy bears have a similar effect on me.
I remember offering you like gummies before, and you're like, I can't eat gummies. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Hopefully
I
I'm
love
not.
a gummy.
You know what?
Now we're talking my language if we're talking gummies here.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me a sour kid. Give me a fuzzy peach.
I used
give
to
me
love
a
this
neon
stuff.
sour gummy worm. Number 1 gummy.
Neon sour gummy worm.
Oh yeah, those are the best ones. That's the main event right there.
Uh,
Right where you want to be. So we're talking holidays. These are holiday treats, perhaps. I'll tell you a holiday treat before we get off this subject that I don't like. Also, Terry's chocolate oranges.
Oh, those are so gross.
Oh, they're the
Who wants
worst.
orange plus chocolate?
It's a terrible combination.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
never good. It's never been good. It never has been good. The few freaks out there who actually like it,
Do you just like smashing it into the counter? Is that the only thing you like about it?
that part's fun.
Because like if you give me a chocolate orange, I'll be looking forward to smashing this.
Yeah.
And then throwing it in the garbage.
Then they came out with the raspberry chocolate orange, which doesn't make any sense.
Never tried it.
I had it, and it's also not good. Maybe Terry's, just make a regular chocolate ball
Yeah. What's wrong with a ball of chocolate?
that smashes into an orange peel. That part's also fun, you got to admit. They nailed that part of it. We got to hand it to Terry's on that.
Oh, for the engineering.
Yeah, exactly. It's a feat of engineering, their chocolate oranges.
Hanukkah treat is Geld, which
Okay.
is the gold coins that are chocolate inside.
Ah.
That's a very common Hanukkah treat.
Okay.
Sometimes you use them as wagers when playing dreidel.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The gambling around Christmas is mostly centered on will my dad fall asleep 1 hour after the meal or
what's
two?
What's the over-under on that?
Yeah, what's over under on dad falling asleep on the couch?
The over-under is 1.5 hours. What are you saying?
Okay, I'm going under usually.
Under, okay.
Dad's taking a pretty hard nap because he'll usually have a bit of wine with dinner, so
Yeah.
he's
yeah.
going down. Plus that turkey amino acid that puts you to sleep.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
forget it.
Tryptophan.
I'll take that bet. I'll bet my geld on that. or
Yeah,
whatever.
sure.
Okay, so let's get to what. Oh, well, okay. Actually, you know what? Wizards Tower, our sponsor. We gotta get to an ad for that.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's check out what they got going on this month or this week rather.
Hello, listener of Commander's Brew. I and my 2 wizard companions have traveled great lengths to meet you here at the Wizard's Tower, wizardtower.com. Thanks for putting that light on the top for us. Anyway, we bring 3 gifts. I bring the gift of coupon code Tower of Brews for 5% off your order, $15 or more.
And I bring you the gift of free shipping on any order, $15 or more in Canada, $10 or more in the United States.
And I bring you the gift of 3% kickback on your next order. Ooh, what a deal. Hey, there's a lot of ox and lambs here. Can I pet one, please? Ooh,
Don't embarrass us, Larry.
sorry.
A classic Christmas, like part of the Christmas story there.
Yeah, 3 wizards.
The 3 wizards.
I think they're meant to evoke the wizards are wise. They are wise men.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could only assume. I love the wise men because like that part of the Christmas story because it's like one brought frankincense, one brought myrrh, and one brought gold. And I know like at the time like those were like, sought after
Top-notch gifts.
things, right? Like frankincense and myrrh. Those are like perfume type things, aren't they? Or something?
I know
like
one of those is a
herbs?
perfume. I don't know if
What's
they both
myrrh?
are. I think myrrh's the perfume.
Myrrh's the perfume.
Well, you would think frankincense was because it has scents in it.
Yeah, I would certainly think frankincense is.
What is frankincense?
Okay, frankincense oil.
Ah,
Oh, frankincense, sometimes referred to as, maybe not for this podcast right now, but it's an essential oil.
huh.
So that's nice. And then the one guy brought gold and really just like burned all the rest of them. It's like when all you and your siblings get your parents gifts and your rich brother gets them like a car. And you're
Yeah,
like,
right?
what?
Yeah.
I got them like, I got them MASH on DVD, like season 6 of MASH.
Yeah. I know they like MASH. They'll appreciate it.
Yeah,
But it's no car.
it's not a car. Yeah, so around Christmas time, of course we were talking about our Brew and Brawl last
Yeah.
week. Sunday is Christmas, right?
Right.
So we're busy that day.
We're not going to be brewing and brawling.
And I feel like most listeners are probably busy that day as well.
So we've moved it to the week between Christmas and New Year's. It's still in December. It's going to be Thursday, December 29th.
Yeah.
Usual time, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So,
Yeah, I feel like it's a nice little time in there, nestled in between Christmas and New Year's. You're not so, it's far enough after Christmas where maybe all your relatives have left. It's died down a little bit.
Yeah, you've
You're
already
not
played with
quite-
your Hot Wheels.
Yeah, you're not quite gearing up for the New Year's party yet. That's another day away probably. And just time enough to jump on stream and watch the Commander's Brew dudes.
Yeah.
The Brew dudes.
Help us put a deck together. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's always great fun, and we do giveaways and stuff like that. So come on in, twitch.tv/commandersbrew.
Come on in.
You can donate to us there too at our Patreon when we do it, because that's always scrolling around if you want. That's always an option. But just come on in and hang around for a bit.
Yeah, we just love the company.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Phew. Okay, so we told you the themes. I'm taking the Hanukkah version. Andy's taking the Christmas version. 8 Crazy Nights versus 12 Days.
That's fun too that we did that.
Yeah, I like
P.S.
that. I like
Days
that too.
versus nights.
Days
I think
versus
it's
nights.
great.
So the overall game plan for the Hanukkah deck. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the Second Temple of Jerusalem up and running again after our victory against the Greek-Syrian oppressors in the Maccabean Revolt.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Plus, we're gonna tap some lands and cast some spells.
Fair enough. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I did research.
In this context, that makes sense.
And I learned there's not a lot of desert-related stuff in Hanukkah.
Oh.
It turns out I have been accumulating all of my knowledge of Judaism into Hanukkah. I put it all and assumed it was all in Hanukkah. Deserts.
So like Moses wandering the desert.
Yeah,
you assumed was
40 days,
yeah,
like
40
all that
yeah.
stuff. But it is about days and oils, and we'll get to that.
And oils.
Yeah.
Always oils in
Yeah.
these stories,
Yeah.
whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah. That's true. There's a oil's a big part of Hanukkah.
Big part.
For me, if you'll remember the 12 Days of Christmas, the song, the classic Christmas carol, it really mostly deals with giving someone whom you love very much a lot of birds. It's mostly giving them birds as gifts, and that's the end of that. That's all there is to it. We're going to be giving away birds.
Yeah.
12 Days of Christmas.
Lots of birds.
Yeah.
So the commander, let's dig deep in the Hanukkah deck. Let's start there.
Let's dig way deep.
I'm-
Let's talk about our commanders first.
Sure. I would have loved to make a knight commander. The only knight commander that is in Bant, it had to be Bant because of because of cards in there. The only knight commander is Rafik of the Many.
Right.
That dude too expensive for our podcast.
Yeah.
He's like $7, but you can pretend it's him.
If you have a Rafik, or if you want him for like a real deck, then use him.
Yeah, if you're actually going to put together a Hanukkah 8 Crazy Nights deck, you should use Rafik. I assume this deck will not be played by a lot of people, so
Yeah.
it almost doesn't matter. But I built with Treva. Treva the... What's her name? Treva the
Treva the
Renewer.
Renewer,
The
yeah.
Renewer. Only because she's Bant, and they had to build that temple again, and it sort of got renewed. Anyway,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Really,
Okay.
really, it's Rafik.
It's really it's Rafik. So,
Yeah.
but let's talk about some of the knights, right? We've got 8 knights in the deck in the 99. I want to highlight 3 of them right now. Knight Exemplar, 1 white for a human knight. First strike, 2/2. Other knight creatures you control get +1/+1 and are indestructible.
Oh, this is a great card.
Right?
Yeah. This
Great
is
in a knight deck.
Knight tribal.
Yeah, and it makes your knights indestructible,
So
much
sweet.
like the faith of those involved.
Yes, completely.
It was indestructible.
indestructible.
Okay, now let's talk about Kabira Vindicator.
No,
Oops.
Kabira Evangel. Wait, did you
No,
want
yeah,
Vindicator?
this
Oh,
guy's
I'm
This
sorry.
guy's a cleric. That's all right. Too many Kabiras.
There's a lot of Kabiras. Here's the right one. Kabira Vindicator.
Yeah, so Kabira Vindicator is a level up one.
Oh.
3 and a white for a 2/4 knight. For 2 and a white, you can level them up. At levels 2 and 4, other creatures you control get +1/+1, and he's a little bit bigger. And at level 5, other creatures you control get +2/+2. That's a big effect.
Yeah.
That adds, if you got nothing else to do with your mana, it has to be sorcery speed. The level up mechanic's not great in Commander, but nonetheless.
You got to invest a lot into it. And this one's 2 and a white for the level up. That's not cheap.
If your stuff's already indestructible, then, I could put the money into it.
Yeah, you've got a 2/4 that you need to then pay 6 to give all your creatures a 1 to +1/+1.
Yeah.
But you get it on the same card, so like you're saving a card slot that way, sort of.
This card is not... This is not a go wide token deck, so I don't know if that's going to be the best thing.
Okay.
And then a great knight, one of the reasons we're using green, is the Juniper Order Ranger.
I love this guy.
2/4 cost you 3 green-white to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and a +1/+1 counter on Juniper Order Ranger. Great. Juniper Order Ranger. Keeping things safe.
He looks like one of the shepherds from the Christmas Story.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's how I used to dress in the nativity scenes
Yeah.
back when I was a little kid and had to be in Christmas pageants.
I'm sure there was a lot of that going around in Jerusalem,
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
Yeah, probably fits.
Well, Bethlehem is in Jerusalem, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Like, I know there's a lot of overlap.
In
like,
Israel. Sorry, not in Jerusalem. What am I saying? In Israel. That's where Bethlehem is, in Israel.
Right. Like, aren't most religions all kind of the same anyway? Like, aren't we just dividing them in weird ways?
Let's not get into that.
Okay. Great. So one of the things we're doing is putting that temple back together.
Yes, we are.
Right after the revolt. So you could say we're on a quest for Ula's temple.
You can say that. Yeah.
I don't know who Ula is in this story.
Yeah, in the Hanukkah version.
Yeah, in the Magic version, this is Ulamog, but I know that there's Ulamog is not in the Jewish religion.
Yeah, and nothing really like it.
No, there's nothing like it. So this is an enchantment for 1 in blue, or single blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may reveal it and put a quest counter on Quest for Ula's Temple. That's great. At the beginning of each end step, if there are 3 or more quest counters, you may put a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent creature card from your hand. Now,
onto the battlefield.
On the battlefield. We don't have any of those in the deck.
There's so many other quests.
But none of them had temple in it.
Oh,
right.
Right. You're not looking for the quest.
I needed a card that had temples in it, because temple is where we go to pray.
Stone useless.
Stone useless except for theme. How useful is having that temple?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
and you know what? Your opponents aren't going to want to destroy it, right?
That's true.
It's
I
good.
guess
You're not going to draw a lot of hate for this.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. So another big thing, maybe the big most iconic part of Hanukkah is lighting the menorah.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we're joking about with the oil. The whole thing is they had enough oil for 1 day, but the oil lasted for 8 days.
Right.
Or 8 nights, I guess.
It was a miracle.
So it's a miracle. A Hanukkah miracle.
Yes.
I almost called it a Christmas miracle.
You might even say it's the Hanukkah miracle.
Yeah, right? And so I would have loved to put a menorah in here. Unfortunately, the only candelabra kind of card is restricted. The candelabra of Tanos.
Yeah, which is...
it is on the reserved list.
It definitely looks like a menorah.
Oh, it's straight up perfect for this deck. It's also $500.
Yeah.
It's
little bit out of our range.
It's 10 of our decks put together.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I had to use instead was a card called Candle's Glow. 1 in a white for an instant arcane. Prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. You gain 1 life for each damage prevented this way, and you can splice it onto arcane for 1 in a white.
And you have, of course, a lot of arcane spells in here to take advantage of that, I assume.
0 other arcane spells. Yeah, but this is the only magic card that also had candles in it, so I had to put that one in.
Okay.
And then, as you know, with Hanukkah, a lot of Jewish holidays, we mark the beginning of them with sunset.
Right.
So, of course, I had to include Serene Sunset. Green and X. Prevent all combat damage X target creatures would deal this turn. Not the worst card.
This card is actually kind of good.
Because you target X creatures, so it's not going to stop a gigantic token onslaught.
Right.
But if we're going to say we're allowing 1 or 2 fog effects,
yeah,
this is not bad because you can just choose opposing creatures to not deal damage.
Sure, yeah.
And then your creatures can kill them back, but they don't kill your creatures. So this is not.
This is an interesting card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Serene sunset. That's when we begin. That's when we light the candle and say prayers. And
bottom line is, it still is a fog if you've got your, giant Eldrazi coming at you to kill you, or a big commander or something like that.
And look at the picture. Does that not look like? And see, I know Hanukkah isn't about crossing a desert, as I learned, but this looks like it's a bunch of people crossing a desert looking for something.
Yeah.
Looks good to me. Looks pretty religious.
The flavor text is: the armies paused, silent, as the warriors reflected on the sunsets of their youth.
Huh.
So,
you know what?
Is that relevant? I don't know.
Well, I think in, whatever you celebrate, I think the holidays are a time to pause and reflect on our loved ones and things like that.
I concur with that.
Great. And since it's a festival of lights, we had to put some light in the deck. How about light from within?
Okay, great.
2 white enchantment, and it's got chroma. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each white mana symbol in its mana cost.
Oh,
This is not a bad card either.
this is not a bad card. Yeah, no.
So like all of our knights, I think.
This would be very good in a very dedicated Knights deck, I think, because most of
Sure.
them are white, right?
Sure, all the knights I'm using have, I think, at least one white pip in it.
Yeah.
And you throw in the Vindicator as well, giving them an extra +1/+1. You have the potential to have a very large knight army.
Cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I love about these theme decks. Every now and then you find a couple
Find
things
a card,
that
and be like, oh, cool.
Okay, well then so another one thing. This is not Hanukkah related, but I know that the mythology of golems comes
yes.
from Hebrew mythology.
Mhm.
So I would like to put some golems in there for protection.
Okay.
I want to highlight Darksteel Sentinel, 6 mana, 6 generic for an artifact creature, golem. He's a 3/3 flash. You can flash this guy in, and he's got vigilance and indestructible. And the reason I'm highlighting this golem is because one more knight I haven't talked about yet is Warrior Encore. Warrior Encore is white for a 2/2 knight. And it's got a 0 activated ability, which just means you can use this whenever you want. The next 1 damage that will be dealt to Warrior Encore this turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. So he can funnel all that damage to the indestructible Darksteel Sentinel. So Darksteel Sentinel blocks a guy. Warrior Encore blocks a guy and sends all the damage to Darksteel Sentinel, and then those 2 guys don't die.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, right?
So that's very neat.
A couple of surprising little synergies in here.
Yeah, I'd say so. He also looks like someone out of that mythology.
Yeah, right? He's wearing a little hat. He's got a
horse there. He's riding a horse.
He does look like a ghost.
He's definitely yeah, that's weird. He looks like a spirit knight.
Although he is a core warrior. Maybe the cores are maybe some cores are blue like that.
Yeah, they're definitely pale like that. Okay, cool. Well, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. I hope that all your dreidels come up Gimel. Gimel, which is the one that wins the whole thing. I don't understand the dreidel game. It doesn't
I didn't know it was a game. I thought it was just a little thing you spun.
Oh, but there's 4 sides.
Yeah.
Hey, Gimel, Noon. Oh, I forgot the 4th one. Anyway, basically you would play with little candies, maybe chocolate geld.
Sure.
And there's a pot in the middle, and one of the numbers means you put in 1. One of the sides means you put in 1.
Yeah.
One of the sides means you take all of it. One of the sides means you take half of it. And one of the sides means, I don't know, put in half of what you got or something like that. It's very swingy. It's very swingy. Very swingy game.
Wow, cool. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, it's all about gambling and, betting chocolates.
Cool. Okay, so 12 Days of Christmas. So we got 8 Crazy Nights. We got 12 Days of Christmas. Classic song. So I just went through all the days in 12 Days of Christmas, 12 of them, obviously, and just picked stuff. So here's the thing, though. There are many different versions of the 12 Days of Christmas, and I did not know this.
What?
Before looking this up. Yes, there are
I know there's the Muppets version.
Well,
I know
not
that.
of the recorded song, of the words. Sometimes,
Really?
Yeah, Hounds a Running is in some versions,
What?
and Hares a Running, and then there's
Why did we change it? Hounds a Running is awesome.
I know, and I wish it was Hounds a Running because that would have replaced Ladies Dancing. which was very hard to find for this one. It was easily the worst one for me.
And wasn't there an old StarCraft version of this?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't the StarCraft people sing this?
There's been a lot of great 12 Days of Christmases. If you're a fan of Canada, there's the Bob and Doug McKenzie 12 Days of Christmas.
I'm a fan of Canada.
Yeah, me too. And my favorite one is that one's on the first day of Christmas.
Like, true look good to
is
me.
it True Love?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's really good to me. A beer.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then you can hear the little synth. Just doesn't stop.
It always, it keeps going. It's great.
Yeah.
Look that one up. That one's fun.
That's a fun one.
But for this one, let's just go through what it is. So first, it's we got a partridge in a pear tree. Then we got turtle doves, French hens, calling birds. There's so many birds. Golden rings, geese a-laying, swans a-swimming, maids a-milking, ladies dancing, lords a-leaping, pipers piping, drummers drumming. That is the like kind of modern version that everyone knows that is the most consistent. These are
modern.
All of these ones are the most consistent.
We're calling this one modern.
Well, I mean, it's the one that everyone knows now.
Okay,
Right. So I
okay.
guess that you'd consider that modern.
We need a new
We
a
need
modern
new
version.
We do. Well, I put forth this one. So on the first day of Christmas. Oh, my commanders. I forgot to tell you. My commanders, we thought that. So I did this on stream. So I had some help from some of the gang there. And we thought that what a great idea it would be to have Kineos and Tiro of Miletus be the commander for this deck because they're the true loves.
Aww.
So K and T are giving each other gifts or whatever, and it's always birds.
Yeah.
So those are the true loves. Partridge in a pear tree. Well, I originally got to admit I had Birds of Paradise here, but it just wasn't working budget-wise, so we had to cut the birds because they're like $5.
Yeah.
So instead, it's Derivi, Imperial Tactician, who is a bird wizard, and it's like kind of a secondary commander almost because it's birds. And so we thought, you know what, Derivi, it would be great. And what tree should we put Derivi in? Well, we can't have the Birds of Paradise, so let's have the next best thing, Utopia Tree. Which is 1 and a green, and it's an 0-2 that taps for any color. So it does what Birds of Paradise does. So it's Derivi and Utopia Tree.
Ah, that works. Does it work the whole time?
It pretty much works.
At the end, can we do the full version?
Oh, I was going to sing it at the end.
Okay,
I think.
okay.
Yeah. So the second day of Christmas is usually 2 turtle doves. Well, this one came to me right away. Wingmate Rock. Right, it's perfect. There's 2 birds in the art, and you get 2 birds. It's the 5-mana 3/4 that with raid. You put them down, you get another 3/4. You get another Wingmate Rock.
Amazing.
So that's your 2 turtle doves.
That's inspired.
Some of these worked out so well, and some are real stretches. So we had a hard time with this one at first, but then Sarah helped us find. Sarah was here too, and she helped me find the perfect card. 3 French hens. Well, take a look at Bronze Beak Moa.
Whoa!
It's 3 like fancy looking birds, and they're the most hen-like birds I've ever seen in Magic.
And
like,
there's 3 of them in the picture.
yeah, there is. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 2 green and a white for a 2/2 that whenever another creature enters the battlefield, Bronze Beak Moa gets +3/+3. It's not a terrible card. It gets big if in token decks, which this is. So actually,
Yeah, man.
well, that's the other thing I want to say is this is a token themed deck for the most part, and I think it's playable. Like it's not going to be 100% efficient, but it's built to actually work. There's some stuff in here. Anyways,
Mine is not. I want to make that clear.
yeah, I don't have any stone useless cards. Well, 1 or 2 maybe. So Bronze Beak Moas are 3 French hens. 4 calling birds. I'm very proud of this one. This was one I
So
stumbled
far,
upon.
we're hitting hard. Like these are great hits.
4 calling birds. Well, there's a card called Call. Oh, sorry, I forgot that we're doing this. So there's a card called Call. Okay, it's on back end Call. It's a fuse card. Beck, which isn't important, is whenever a creature enters the battlefield this turn, you may draw a card. Call is 4 and a white and a blue. Put 4/1/1 bird creature tokens of flying onto the battlefield. 4 calling birds.
And it makes 4 friggin' birds?
Yes, exactly.
This is have we been incepted to like did the designers of Magic just plant this deck
Yeah.
in the history of Magic.
Well,
hoping
no.
we would find it someday.
Let me tell you, the answer is no.
I can only assume everything gets much more perfect from here.
That's just dead wrong. So 4 Calling Birds is great. And again, super pleased with this. This one really worked out because we're kind of stretching for this one for a bit. Call's great. So now we're on 5 golden rings, right? 5 gold rings,
Sure.
5 golden rings, depending on which version.
That's the one Miss Piggy sings.
Oh, yeah? Is it?
This
in
is
the
her
Muppet one?
line. Yeah, she makes a big show of it.
5 gold rings. That's
Yeah,
not how Miss Piggy says.
No, that's more Kermity.
That's more Kermit. Hello, Kermit the Frog here. Okay. 5 gold rings. So this is the only one where I took 5 cards and made it and like used them for
One
it.
card per ring.
1 card per ring. So we got Soul Ring. Excellent ring. Obviously going to go in. Obviously going to use it. Next, we got Jinxed Ring, which is it's a 2-mana artifact that says whenever any card is put. Sorry, whenever a non-token permanent is put in your graveyard from the battlefield, Jinxed Ring deals 1 damage to you. Non-token. That's okay. And you can sacrifice a creature. Target opponent gains control of Jinxed Ring. So we'll sacrifice one of our bird tokens and give them this ring, and then it deals damage to them whenever something they have dies. Look, it's not great, okay? And they can just sacrifice it, give it back to you. But we also have. I'm not going to go in deep on it, but we have Zidru in this deck, and there is a little bit of an exchanging theme. So this actually will help there too. Okay. Because we didn't want to make Zidru, we didn't want to make just a Christmas giving deck. Like we done
did
it
that
before. We
last
literally
year.
did that last year. Anyways, Jinx Ring is number 2. Number 3, Ring of Evos Isle. Okay, it's the one that it's 2 mana. You equip it for 2, and you can pay 1. Equip it for 1, pay 2, give the creature hexproof. If it's blue, it'll get a +1/+1 counter on your upkeep. A lot of the birds are blue-white, so that's helpful. Next one is Ring of Thune. It's the same thing except it's white, and it gives a +1/+1 counter if the creature's white, but it gives it vigilance instead of the hexproof ability. And finally, we have Ring of 3 Wishes, which is just a great commander card. 5 mana artifact, 3 wish counters. You pay 5 and tap it, take a wish counter off, and tutor for something.
Great.
Great card. Those are our 5 rings. And those are honestly, like, I'm kind of impressed with how good the rings are. The Thune one isn't great, and the Jinxed one isn't great, but those other 3 are solid.
Well, and now you guys listening know that if you also want to ever do an Olympics deck,
Yeah,
there's
there are
your
5
rings.
rings. Yeah. Well, there's actually 5 of the colored rings too.
Oh, that's probably better.
That's
for
probably
Olympics.
better, right?
What's you need
cut
a yellow one.
the black one because we don't have black. Yellow would be white, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
The sun is plain symbol.
Most
yellowish.
plains cards have a yellowish hue to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got that built right in. Okay, so that's our 5 rings. Next one is 6 Geese laying. This one was difficult. There are many eggs in Magic,
Yeah.
but none of them was anything that I was happy with. So I instead looked to a card called Swan Song, which is just a great card. Oops, great card. It's the 1 mana counter spell, counters an enchantment, instant, or sorcery, but then it gives your opponent a 2/2. Well, if you look at it, it's a swan, obviously, but it also looks kind of like a goose, and it's laying an egg. It's laying a little baby goose over on the other side. That's how I stretched for geese laying. I could have had some eggs in here, but I didn't add the eggs.
Can I TO for half a second?
Sure.
Is Swan Song the best commander format counterspell?
Ooh, is it the best?
Yeah.
It's up there.
It's
right
really
up
love
there.
it because
It's
counters.
basically free.
It's basically free. It's 1 blue, and it counters what you want to counter.
Yeah.
Like most things, you're like, oh man, I don't want to get Wrath right now.
Mhm.
There you go. Wrath is probably going to be a sorcery or an instant.
Yep. I think it's definitely in contention. Top 3, I'd say, at least.
Okay. Anyway, time in.
Yeah, okay. Other ones you consider for that?
Okay, time
Original
back out,
counterspell
yeah.
and what else?
I'm very excited about the new counterspell that's been spoiled for Aether Revolt.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's 1 blue, counter target
Oh,
spell,
I did see
activated ability, or triggered ability or
Yeah.
something like that. It's just like everything you want.
It's like, cancel is 100% like not usable anymore.
Bye
really.
cancel.
Yeah.
Cancel. And it really puts a strong contention to like the ones that exile spells, like Void
Yeah,
Shatter.
it does. Yeah.
'Cause,
I
like,
love Void Shatter and Dissipate. I always use those.
It doesn't exiles the spell, but it does deal with things that very few counter spells deal with.
Yep. Yeah, those are valuable. Those are definitely valuable. So anyway, Swan Song is your geese a-laying. And the reason you might be saying, well, wait a second, isn't there a swan somewhere in the 12 Days of Christmas? Well,
swans a swimming.
You would be correct, and that is at 7. 7 swans a swimming. But luckily, swans are far more prevalent in Magic than geese. So for 7, we have swans of Bryn Argol, 2, and then 2 hybrid Azorius. So for 4 mana total, you get a 4/3 with flying. It says if a source would deal damage to the swans, you prevent that damage. The source's controller draws cards equal to the damage prevented this way.
Okay.
So not huge, good,
No.
but you know what? It's swans, and it's 7 swans a swimming. This one I was thinking of using for three French hens at first because there's 3 of them on there. But
do you know what this card would be good for though? If you have a sack outlet, what you don't want is your opponents to like do damage to it and draw cards.
yeah,
But if you had a sack outlet, you could just like sack it if that ever happened. But you could run things like, what is it, Blasphemous Act, things like that, and just be like, yeah, okay, I'll draw 13 off of this, no problem.
yeah, definitely. If you got ways to repeatedly deal damage, great. Probably pretty good in a pinging deck.
Yeah,
Because
for
you could
sure.
ping this guy 2 times every turn. Those pingers turn into draw a card, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
But you have to prevent that damage. Actually, you can do it as many times as you want.
That's true.
If it's source or deal damage, prevent that damage. That's wow.
Its controller draws cards equal to the damage prevented. That's what
Yeah. So that's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, you just don't want your opponents to
You don't want your opponents to. I mean, just don't put it in the.
don't put in combat, but don't
Combat,
let them lightning
really.
bolt it or
That's probably pretty
fireball it.
unlikely, right?
Yeah.
Lightning bolt. You don't really.
Well,
come
maybe
across
not,
that in
but a lot
Commander.
of cards will do like there's a lot of like incidental cards that do some damage here or there.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyways, 7 swans of swimming. That's where they are, even though they're flying in the air there.
they don't always swim.
This one again, we're really stretching here. We get worse, and then we get back, and we get better again. Okay.
Great.
So we're really stretching for maids of milking. 8 maids of milking. You tell me you can look through Magic's history and find me 8 maids of milking.
Cows.
Cows are just not around. But you know what is? You know what
farmers.
You know what else you can milk?
What?
Goats.
You can milk goats. Goats milk cheese. A lot of people with lactose intolerance drink goat milk cheese.
Spring Jack Shepherd.
Yes.
That's a maid of milking, and it is a maid also. I always
Yes.
thought it was a little dude, but I was wrong. It's 3 and a white for a Kithkin wizard that says, Chroma, when Spring Jack Shepherd enters the battlefield, create an 0/1 white goat for each white mana symbol and the permanents you have, right? So you may get as many goats as you get white pips. Well, I mean, you know what? That's a maid of milking, and that's close enough for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you can get 8 white pips, then it's perfect.
That's true. But then it won't be 8 maids of milking. It'll be 8 goats being milked by a maid. Because we only have the one maid, really.
True.
Yeah. So again, a bit of a stretch, but this one was pointed out to me by it could have been I should have wrote them down who helped me. But we had our friend Pimped Up Monk in there. We had I don't know, I don't remember. Anyways, I'm terrible with that. I'm the worst.
Well, you bring up a good point. We're not in the habit. I think we should do more of that. I think we should like start brewing some show decks on Twitch.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Not necessarily plan them out, but just like random stuff.
Yeah. Spring Jack Shepherd is what we'll be milking with the goats. We have ladies dancing now, 9 ladies dancing. This one is a bit easier to come up with because ladies are not hard to come by in Magic. It's the dancing part that's difficult. So I added a zombie Lady of Scrolls, and the reason I added her, not only is she a lady, but she taps a lot. She tap dances, right? So she's kind of moving a lot on the board. It's really good. Also, she's just a fun card to have, and there are some birds that are also wizards. But also, I actually just remembered this one. This is the one that really stuck out to me. Where is it?
Oh.
Yeah. Stratus Dancer is,
yes,
I think, a decent card in Commander, actually, when you're building a deck that needs a lady dancing, because it is a lady dancing, Stratus Dancer. She's a Djinn Monk. She's 1 and a blue for a 2/1 with flying. She has Megamorph for 1 and a blue. When Stratus Dancer is turned face up, counter target instant or sorcery spell. So she's a negate on a morph creature, which is
unmorphing cannot be interrupted or responded to.
Exactly.
this is the only thing that can counter split-second things.
Right.
Because split second doesn't let you, so you can crows and grip an artifact, but you can unmorph a Stratus Dancer in response to that crows and grip and counter the crows and grip.
Because this does not, because morph doesn't use the stack.
Right.
Right.
Because of how special morph is, morph gets around that.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the only way to stop stuff like that.
That's
that I know of.
Like, who's ever been ruined by what's that black card? With split second. Makes them all O2s?
Yeah, it makes everyone O2s. Yeah, this thing counters that, no problem.
I've been ruined by that card many times.
Yeah.
And Stratus Dancer is something to think about. It's great in an Afara deck because you want, if in an Afara control deck, you want creatures down to let you draw the cards, but then that's just another counter spell sitting there for you.
Yeah.
So it's good for that. So actually, Stratus Dancer is a neat little card.
So far, your deck has a lot more good cards than my deck.
Yeah, I guess so. So where are we now? We're at Ladies Dancing. We're at 9. So 10 is Lords of Leaping, and we had two great ideas. I thought of this one. I thought of Leaping Master, obviously.
There you go.
1 in red for a 2/1. He has 2 in a white. Leaping Master gains flying. He's a Leaping Master. There he is.
There you go.
He's a Lord. But then something like I can't remember the person's name in our chat. It was like Can Dog or something Dog. Apologies, really, I'm the worst. Thought of, what about a Lord that has flying, or gives +1/+1 in flying? Well, the closest thing we could find was Avon Brigadier, who is 3 white for a 3/5. That has flying. Other bird creatures get +1/+1, and other soldier creatures get +1/+1. So this is a Lord of Leaping. He is a bird and soldier lord, in the Magic terms.
And he's great in this deck.
And he's great in the deck, exactly.
Wow.
There's a lot of soldiers and birds, so
wow,
actually kind of works.
Wizards of the Coast, you have been pulling the wool over our eyes forever. Every Christmas, they goes by and they think, will somebody discover it this year? No, not this year.
But they didn't make 10 of them. That's the only thing I'll say. But they did make the one that can represent the lyric for sure. Haven Brigadier. I thought this guy looks like, speaking of the Muppets, I think this is like
Sam Eagle.
This is Sam the Eagle.
Yes.
If you're building a Muppets deck, this is Sam the Eagle.
He does not have a line in the song.
Oh man, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Who is
he's
your
cool.
favorite Muppet?
My favorite Muppet was Gonzo.
Yeah, but he was my favorite Muppet Baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or Fozzie. I really loved Fozzie.
Yeah, we're similar on that.
I feel like because Fozzie, like, he was the artist. He was the comedian, right?
Yeah.
And they just didn't get him.
No.
There wasn't anything wrong with his stuff.
No.
They were just so mean to him for no reason. I thought his jokes were very funny.
Yeah, the two old guys.
They were just...
What are they called again?
Statler and Waldorf.
Statler and Waldorf.
They're just grumpy old men who, I don't know what they have to work through, but they do not have enough positivity.
Yeah.
They are just being mean to be mean.
Fozzie is my favorite Muppet. Gonzo is my favorite Muppet Baby.
Who's your favorite Muppet tonight?
Probably Pepe.
Pepe the King Prawn? Yeah,
Pepe the King Prawn.
Yeah. He's
I remember
hilarious.
when he came out, like thinking that it was a dumb idea, thinking and being like, "Oh man, enough of this, enough of these new Muppets." But my wife Sarah loves Pepe; it's her favorite Muppet.
Okay,
and she has shown me the parts that Pepe is so funny in, and he is hilarious.
Yeah,
there's parts in Muppets from Space that are actually legit so funny, and it's all Pepe.
Yeah.
He was when to hold them, know when to fold them. Gambling, he's so funny.
He is definitely like the holdout of that generation. That he hit from that generation for sure.
And now, whenever a new Muppet movie comes out, he'll usually be in like one scene, but because he's one of those new Muppets, and people are always like, forget the new Muppets. He kind of gets thrown to the back, but really, Pepe is like really worthy of being a top Muppet.
Yeah, you know who's not worthy of being top Muppet? The one from the movie who's a person.
Oh, I hate...
What's his name? Warren?
We don't need that guy.
What's his name?
I don't know.
I don't even remember because I don't care.
Dave the Man.
Dave the human Muppet? Like
Michael.
Get
some regular
out
Adam.
of here, right? I'm okay that movie centered around him and his story, right? Like, I accept that. I want more Muppets content, and that's what it took to get that movie.
Yeah.
Fair. But he had his time. Put him in the back.
We don't need him anymore.
We don't need him anymore.
He's Jason Segel's brother. Get him out of here.
Get him out of
Ship
here,
him
man. He's taking away screen time from numerous characters who are much more worthy of it. We got to change the subject. I'm getting angry here.
We're getting too angry here, okay? I'm getting worked up, okay? I'm telling you guys, Pepe is very good.
Pepe's very good.
Pepe's great. Okay,
Yeah.
so Avon Brigadier, where are we here? We need Piper's Piping, okay? 11 Piper's Piping. We're nearing the end here. Piper's Piping, I wanted to put in Elvish Piper, obviously. But
Yep.
again, that card, a little out of budget, okay? It's right up there. So we got sort of something similar with an Elvish Bard, 3 green, and on the picture, she's got a little pipe. Like it's like a trumpet type thing.
Sure.
I mean, that's a pipe. That's a pipe-ish, right?
It doesn't say bards have to use string instruments.
No, exactly. And this one is not. She says all creatures able to block Elvish Bard do so. So that's a nice effect in a token deck. Like that's you want that. That's fine. I also put in Satyr Piper and what's it called? Like Goblin Trumpet or War Trumpet or whatever that's called. For tokens, it gives everything +2/+0.
Oh yeah.
Goblin War
Satyr
Trumpet.
Piper does the same thing. It makes target creature must be blocked.
But that's it's not exactly the same. Target creature must be
Oh,
blocked.
not everybody.
Yeah,
must.
exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, Piper's Piping, not too bad. We got a few Pipers in there. Satyr Piper is a real Piper. This one's a great one though. Finally, again, this was given to me by the idea was given to me by one of the listeners in there. Maybe it was our boy Boofig. Maybe it was someone else. I can't remember. But Assemble the Legion for the drummers drumming. Because when you see drummers coming down the street in a parade or whatever, and there's 12 of them like this, they are in formation, right? So this is Assemble the Legion. They will be in formation. And, well, where are their drums? Well, they've got Goblin War Drums.
Yeah.
And that is actually also very good for a token deck, both of these cards. Right?
I am astounded at how well that theme came together.
Yeah, me too. I really am.
I feel like the Hanukkah deck is not... Like, if you were to abandon some of the sillier cards
Sure.
and just make it more of a Knights tribal,
Yeah.
I think there's a deck there.
Yeah, probably. I guarantee you there is. We saw some nice synergies even in the ones you were talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely doable. So that's it. We also, like I said, we also do have some gameplay synergy and some Christmas synergy in that we have stuff like Zedrew. Well, you know what? I'll talk about it in a bit here. We'll get into it.
Okay. Well, now let's move on to the 3 stars of the deck. These are the cards that perform the best or are the most like themed. In my case, like what are the just perfect for the theme. Number 3, Brass Herald. This card is a golem, as we've said. Golems are in the deck for sure. 6 generic for a 2/2. As Brass Herald comes into play, choose a creature type. Knights. When Brass Herald comes into play, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all creature cards of the chosen type revealed into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1.
You are the chosen type.
The chosen, the chosen people.
You are the chosen. Yeah, that's right.
Is that something?
I think it is.
There's something similar to that. I don't know if it's quite that. Are you a chosen one? I don't know if that's...
I feel like there's some reference to the Jewish people being the chosen people in some religious text somewhere.
Yeah.
Having to do with these
Well, there you go.
holidays.
Brass Herald.
Perhaps. Right, there you go. Brass Herald fits in.
Great. I mean, there aren't quite enough knights, but like we've got a lot of things that give +1/+1 counters to things. So like we don't have a ton of bomby stuff, but they'll hit hard.
Right on.
Yeah, this is close to a deck.
Yeah.
Number 2 star, Devout Invocation.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right? That sounds like a prayer to me.
Yeah,
right? A Devout
definitely.
Invocation is a kind of prayer. It's expensive. It's 6 and a white for a sorcery. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield for each creature tapped this way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Hanukkah, just a badass card.
Yeah, I mean,
sounds like praying.
I could have put this in there too. Like it has Christmas like feeling in that it's like the religious feel of the angels and so on. And
Yeah.
it's obviously this card works in a token deck really well.
Yeah, really well. And then the number 1 star of the deck, I couldn't use Sensei's Divining Top. I wanted to for Dreidel.
Oh, yes,
Right?
of course.
Sensei's Divining Top would have been perfect for Dreidel,
Yeah.
but that card's also too much. So I'm going to go with Fate Spinner because
Okay.
you spin the Dreidel
Yeah.
and it selects your fate of how much chocolate you're going to get. 1 blue for a human wizard, 1/2. It's an interesting card. I always forget this card exists. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player chooses draw step, main phase, or combat phase.
Yes.
The player skips each instance of the chosen step or phase this turn. What a tough choice to put your opponents in,
Yeah.
right? What do you want? Do you want to attack? Do you want to draw? Or do you want to have a main phase? Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I like this card. I can't remember the one I put this in not that long ago where it was like a real star. Like it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a very cool card.
Yeah, so that's our Dreidel.
That's your Dreidel spinner.
Yeah.
Fate spinner. Okay, for Christmas, I decided to actually, usually I would use this to be like the 3 like best theme cards or whatever, but because I think we just ran through 12 of that, I actually wanted to highlight a couple of the cards that are actually just really good. If you're actually ever going to play this deck. Number 3 is a card called Cultural Exchange. Also, see, this is part flavor, part actually just good because this is just for this podcast. Cultural Exchange. Christmas and Hanukkah, they've coexisted for so many years. I feel like there's a lot of cultural exchange there. We learn about each other. Not that I celebrate either of these holidays, to be honest with you, but that's happening, and it's a great thing. So cultural exchange is cool. It's a card that's it's a 4 and 2 blue. It's a sorcery, and it says choose any number of creatures target player controls. Choose the same number of creatures and another target player controls. Those players exchange control of those creatures. So you just basically swap boards with someone, depending on the numbers, obviously. But this is fine with us. Like if someone has a really great board of a bunch of sick creatures, we'll trade a few bird tokens or a bunch of bird tokens for them. You know, this is where the exchange part comes in. This is where the Christmassy part comes in. And I love that it's cultural exchange. Makes sense.
I got you something.
Yeah. It's 6 bird tokens. Now give me your 6 like Demon Eldrazi things from your Rakdos deck, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. That's cultural exchange. Next, number 2 is Emeria Angel. Emeria Angel, again, Christmassy angel stuff. 2 and 2 white for a 3/3 with flying landfall. Whenever land comes in, you get a bird, a 1/1 bird. Wow, love it, right? She's giving you the bird. She's kind of also, she's like, oh, you got a land? My true love gave to you a bird.
She giving you the bird.
And on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave, and Mary Angel gave to me a bird. Yep. So great. Mary Angel, just very good, obviously, when you're talking bird tokens. And the number 1 star, I don't know if it's exactly the number 1 star, but this is a fun one in the same vein as Cultural Exchange. It's Djinn of Infinite Deceits. 4 and 2 blue for a 2/7 with flying, and it says tap and exchange control of 2 target non-legendary creatures. You can't activate this ability during combat. So you can't do it. You can do it at instant speed. You just can't do it during combat.
Right. So you can't take their stuff to block their stuff with it.
Exactly. So I mean, you know, that's a restriction that's we wish we didn't have, but overall, it's still a pretty cool card. And sometimes this can mess with people's minds, right? It messes with who gets what and people's math and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is also a great card with Derivi. To be able to tap and untap this creature many times is very good. You can trade off bird tokens again.
You can also trade 2 things other people own with each other.
Exactly, yes.
Just to mess around.
I've done that. We were in a game once where we were playing against our friend Ben's really stacks deck. Remember that?
Yeah.
His like Varel the Hulklade thing where he had like 1 million counters on his like Tangle Wire or whatever it was. And we were passing around that the one that untaps everything. It was not Prophet Crucifix, but the Seedborn Muse.
Oh.
We were passing around a Seedborn Muse with my Djinn of Infinite Deceits so that we could have turns and we could actually do stuff. Yeah, that was
great.
a fun game.
It's a great team up card.
Yeah, it's very interesting and really good. I love this card. Great blocker also at 2/7. Like you're not going to get through that very easily. So yeah, there you go. 3 stars.
So any surprises or discoveries?
Yes, I did have a surprise / discovery.
I had one. I kind of mentioned a couple as we went around, like
Yeah.
the Serene Sunset, but I also want to highlight Devout Witness. I was looking for the word devout because that's just a religious word. I needed a bit of filler in the deck. 2 and a white for a 2/2 human spell shaper. She's got the activated ability of 1 white tap, discard a card, destroy target artifact or enchantment. I'm always on the lookout for like repeatable artifact enchantment destruction, and this is one. You got to discard a card, but that's always a good deal. If there's there's a lot of artifacts and enchantments that you would happily discard a card to get off the table.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very good card, especially. This is a very good card in general, I think. Pitch your extra lands late in the game to destroy key things.
Sure.
And if you want a discard outlet, if you're running any kind of graveyard synergy, this is a killer card.
Killer card.
This is good.
I feel like I've come across that name before, but I just forgot about it. When I was searching, I was like, oh, this card is great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Cool. I love it when that happens.
Devout Witness.
For me, again, this was a card brought up by a viewer in our Twitch channel when I was building this deck. It's Battle Screech, which is 2 and 2 white for a sorcery that says create 2 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying. Cool. But it has flashback, tap 3 untapped white creatures you control, and and that's what the cost is. Sorry, I felt like there was more there, but it's just the rules text. So basically, flashback means you can cast it from your graveyard and then exile it, right? You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost.
So you have to tap 2 untapped white creatures. They can have summoning sickness.
Tap 3, exactly. So you play Battle Screech, and as long as you have one other thing, you get
4 birds.
4 more, yeah.
2 of them untapped.
I actually was now that I'm looking at this, I was confusing flashback with
Buyback.
retrace.
Retrace? Oh, discard a land and cast it again.
Yeah, that's what I was confusing it with. But anyways, I still think it's kind of neat. You do get a lot for you get 4 white birds for 4 mana. It's not the worst.
You know, in a bird deck, that's a lot of birds.
In a bird deck, that can make a big difference.
Bird deck.
Bird deck. Okay. Before we get to the budget report, it's time for another mention of Wizard's Tower.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask our listeners to keep an eye out for. We've been getting a few requests for this, and I started putting it together. I should have the first part up on our YouTube channel shortly. Just a super cut of a bunch of Wizard Tower ads we've done in the past.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Hey, can we hear some of them again?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll put together." So I'm gonna put together just the Innistrad block, the Shadows over Innistrad block ones first.
Ah, cool.
And then as time goes on, I'll put like future ones up there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Wizard's Tower, Tower of Brews. Go there, get your singles, United States or Canada. You can order from both.
I recently put an order in there, and as part of it, I was like, you know what? I never want to think about ordering another Emeria Shepherd.
Oh yeah, really?
They're dark cheap.
Yeah.
So I just put like an extra 6 in the order.
Ooh.
Just because like I don't want to have to think about it anymore.
I ordered some Platinum Angels recently.
Oh, different
Conspiracy Platinum Angels.
More than a quarter.
And what I did was there weren't any in stock for a bit, so I put them on my wish list, and then I was just emailed. And it was like I got emailed like the next day when they had some in, and I like immediately went in and grabbed them.
Yeah.
Great little thing you can do there.
I've never used the wish list.
It's awesome. If you see a card that's not in stock, you just go add to my wish list. It'll email you next time you get it. You'll be like I was about to start a show. I had a show at Bad Dog, and I was about to start it, and I got an email being like, your Platinum Angels and your Garrick Wildspeaker is in. And I was like, ooh. I was like, they're both in at the same time? So I like quickly bought it on my phone.
Cool.
And then that was it. Also, check out MTG Canada, because that's where we have articles currently.
Yeah.
Sean's article is up there.
Mine just went up about revenge in Commander.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of ways to get revenge on people.
I see your exclamation points have made it into the headlines now.
I use a lot of exclamation points, don't I?
You do use a lot of exclamation
points. Look. Point. Oh, there's a paragraph that doesn't end.
Yeah, you don't need. This one doesn't even have one.
Oh no, there's one.
Oh,
I saw one in there. I saw one in there.
Yeah. Oh, there is one in there.
There is one in there. Every paragraph ends
There's
with an
one.
exclamation point. You know what it is?
There's
I'm just
one.
so excited, guys.
Yeah, you are excited. Look, there's another
I'm just
one.
so excited, and I don't think a period conveys how excited I am to say my thoughts.
There's honestly not a paragraph without an exclamation point.
Oh no, now I can't not see it.
Oh wait, this one. This one doesn't have one.
It ends in an ellipses.
You got an ellipses there. That's fine. You know what? You know why? You know what made me think of this?
Oh.
So I always read your articles, of course, and they're great. I love them. And I did notice like lately there's been a lot of exclamation points. But then I watched the Seinfeld episode where Elaine is upset that is it Jake Jarmel doesn't use an exclamation point at the end of his like Maria had her baby. It's like remember, and Elaine's
that sounds
so
like
mad
an
at him.
exclamation point worthy sentence.
Yeah, she's like, he didn't put an exclamation point on here.
Oh, he didn't.
He didn't put one. No. She's like, well, I would. And then she's all mad and she's yelling at him. It's like, I would put an exclamation point at the end of this sentence and that one and this one too. And she's yelling. And then she goes into work and she adds exclamation points to everything she's written at Pennant Publishing. And he's
Wow.
like, I went into the shower and I put on my jacket. It's great. That's Sean.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna be very aware of it. I'm
I
gonna
didn't mean
look
to make you insecure.
No, that's okay. I know I do that a lot. Like even with my text messages, like most text messages are just exclamation points because it's all like, "Great, can't wait, see
Yeah.
you soon."
See you soon.
Like it's
Yeah.
all it all makes
Be right
sense.
there. Yeah,
A
yeah.
period is more like, "See you soon." Great.
I've got into it because when you and I tweet on the Commander's Brew Twitter account, like it's the same thing. It's like, hey guys, like everyone come on in, like come to
Yeah.
our Twitch channel, or like, hey, the new episode's up. Everything's very cool. And everyone's very excited. And like I'm just like, man, I'm using a lot of exclamation points. I think I better cool out with that. So I kind of made a concerted effort to like stop adding
Okay.
exclamation
Well, that's a
points.
way to tell who's tweeting
It
from the
is.
account.
It really is, yeah.
Exclamation points galore. That's this guy right here.
Oh yeah, that's great. Oh, and also you can check out EDH Rec. I am now writing articles for over there, and well, you know what? Who knows? Maybe sometime soon, someone else we know what might be. Well, we'll see. But yes, go to EDH Rec. It's more like it's slightly like comedy type articles over there from me right now. But I might change that up. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll talk to our boy Jason Alt about that. Okay, cool. Let's get to the budget report.
This is the part of the show where we throw a card high up into the sky and follow its light to see where it takes us. And if it takes us to a game of Commander going on, great.
Yeah, I'm with that. If I ever throw a card in the air and it takes me to a game of Commander, I'm in.
That'd be cool.
That's great.
Great. So the budget report. The deck, my deck, the Hanukkah deck, came in. Well, I don't have a final total for you because I don't.
Why, Sean?
Well, because I don't know if I'm going to use Rafiq or not. If I'm not using Rafiq, we could probably knock $7, and I bet you this deck's about $30. Like, there's only a few cards that cost
for
any money.
Rafiq. Put him in there.
All right. Anyway, the most expensive card currently in the deck has dropped. Solemn Simulacrum is $350 these days, which is great. We this got out of Brew range for us, but because it's now, I guess it was reprinted again in the Commander sets, that always brings them down. So, if you've learned anything, buy a bunch because it will go back up.
Yeah.
And it's a golem. So
Oh,
it's in
great.
there, yeah. Fate Spinner, the dreidel of the deck. That's
Right,
got to
bonus.
keep that in there. That is $275-ish. I mean, it's a very cool effect. I think if you have a better use for this, you're going to want this card. I mean, how badly are you going to make this deck? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
So
not.
anyway, and third most expensive card, Obelisk of Erd. This is another sort of like help the team. This is more like a tribal card.
You've got a lot of anthems for a guy who's not running a.
Well, once
wide deck.
once the anthem started showing up, I was like, well, that must be a theme. Obelisk of Erd, 6 generic. It's got Convoke. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Knights. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +2/+2. That's huge.
It's great. Very good card.
That's great. Does it belong in this deck? Does anything belong in this deck? I don't know. How do you even decide for a theme deck?
Yeah, it's really completely up to you.
Yeah.
My deck, because I built it completely and knew what I was using, is $47.39. So it's actually like we're riding the limit there. A lot of these cards are kind of expensive. So, and this is after me making several cuts. Number 1 is Battle Screech.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how or why. I guess there's an old version of it that, because so this was in Vintage Masters.
It must be it.
And outside of that, it was in Judgment, right? So Judgment is an old set, and this hasn't been reprinted in paper, I think, for a long time.
I didn't realize Vintage...
And it was an uncommon in Judgment, whereas it was a common in Vintage Masters online. So, yeah, I think it's like $3 or something, maybe a bit more.
What?
Next is Ring of Three Wishes, which I think is around $2.50, $3 as well. This card is very good. I think you want to use this in a lot of Commander decks. Obviously, we're talking theme deck here, so it's up to you. This is one of your 5 golden rings, though, and there's not that many better rings, I'll tell you that. Unless you want to use Rings of Bright Hearth, but that card's like $20. That's 2 golden rings right there in one card, though.
Ooh,
so I don't know.
Yeah.
And finally, Dovescape. We're not. I don't want to say we're bird tribal, but we have a lot of birds, and Dovescape just gets us more birds. Gets everyone more birds, actually. Whenever a player, it's 3 and 3 hybrid Azorius for an enchantment, so 6 in total. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, counter that spell. That player creates X 1/1 white and blue bird creature tokens with flying, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. So this is an enchantment. You need a creature to destroy this if you ever want to get rid of it.
That's right.
You can't. Can you Crows and Grip this? No.
Because it will get countered.
It's triggered. But I think you can't trigger or counter.
You can't add anything to the stack, but I think cards with Split Second will cause triggers to happen. Like it will get Possibility Stormed if you cast it from your hand, for example.
Interesting.
Like you can't.
Because you're not choosing. This is an automatic thing that happens, right? It's
yeah, I think with Split Second just means players can't respond to it by adding their own activated abilities, but triggers knowing the game does triggers that's automatic.
Okay.
I think.
Well, yeah, maybe. I think you're right. It sounds right.
Yeah.
Dovescape is a wacky card, and I think would create some very fun board states. And ultimately, we've got the anthems and we've got the things that pump birds and stuff, so we're happier to have these birds than our opponents are. So
I like this card as I'm always thinking about the moment in a deck when you're like, I'm about to go off. I just need to lock it down for a little bit longer. Maybe one more lap around the table if no one messes with my stuff. This is a great card to do that. I mean, as long as you don't need to cast more spells to make it happen.
Yeah, and I wonder what your opponents do. What would you do if someone has a pretty decent little token army there, and you've got a board wipe, but they drop a Dovescape before, and you're like, oh, well, I can't use my board wipe just to get 4, 5, maybe 4, 5, or 6 birds.
I mean, unless your birds can trade 1 for 1.
Yeah,
which is unlikely.
If you really need blockers, then maybe you do it. And then you've wasted your board wipe, or you burn some other spells in your hand, you just cast them just to. It's non-creature, so it's anything else that's not a creature, like artifact,
enchantments.
Yeah.
Huh.
Instant sorceries, all of it. So
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like most people probably. I mean, it depends on what you got, obviously, but I feel like most people would try and save their spells for what they are, as opposed to just wasting them to get a few tokens.
But how do you even I'm thinking of there might not be anything in the deck that gets rid of this. There's the Devout Witness.
Yep,
she's already on the
creature,
board,
right? If it's a triggered ability on a creature, you can.
Oh sure, all those creatures that enter the battlefield and destroy. Oh, there's lots of those.
There's lots of those, right?
Okay.
But a lot of people don't run those. They run the spells that take care of it instead, right?
Yeah, I tend to favor spells that do multiples.
Yes, me too.
I
you know what? I tend to favor creatures. That's actually not true. I tend to favor ETB abilities because you can recur them from the graveyard.
Because you're going to recur them all day.
I got Palace Siege. You better believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there it is. That's those are the decks.
Whew.
We did it. Hanukkah, Christmas, 2 great holidays.
I hope everyone out there celebrates whatever they want to celebrate with loved ones.
Yes, exactly. Whatever it is you might celebrate during this time of year, if anything.
At least just enjoy the time off of work you're probably getting, right?
Exactly. If you live in a warmer climate, just know that you have that on us.
Yes.
You've got that one up on us for sure.
Yeah.
And if you live in a warm climate, but your family is from a colder climate, again, like us, where, if we have friends who live in LA or something, they got to come back here. Well, burn on them.
Burn.
Huge burn. You got to come back to the freezing cold, snowy
But great for us
wasteland.
because we'll get to play Magic with them.
That's true. And we do get to do that this holiday season. So we're doing it. We're doing the thing you said.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Guys, have a great time of year. Have a great New Year also, although we're going to be back before New Year's.
There will be one episode before New Year's.
Yeah.
But
in case we won't, because it's all about the New Year. So
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll do a commander interview after this, of course. Or maybe it's a commander song.
Maybe.
Okay.
Hello, you're the new butler? Well, it's been a while since I've been the new anything. What's happened to Hudson? I guess he's changing. Yeah, he does that a lot, doesn't he? I'm Odric Lunok Marshall. I live down the road. Oh! Sir Percival lets me use his piano if he's not around. He's not around, is he? I can honestly say I haven't seen him. But come in. But... No, come in. Are you related to Sir Percival? Well, distantly. Oh, you're not the poor relation from Innistrad, right? Ha ha! Gee, news sure travels fast, doesn't it? I'm Odric Master Tactician. Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. You're the one that sings, right? Well, right or wrong, I sing either way. Oh, well, I sing too. Oh, good. What kind of singing? Mostly the contemporary stuff. Do you like modern music? Oh, I think it's marvelous. Some of it really fine. But tell me, have you ever listened to any of the older fellows? Oh, yeah, sure. I like, John Lennon and the other one with, Harry Nielsen. You go back that far, huh? Yeah, I'm not as young as I look. Ha ha! Yes! None of us are these days. In fact, I've got a 6-year-old son, and he really gets excited around the Christmas holiday thing. Do you go in for anything of the traditional things in the, Lunok Marshall household at Christmas time? Oh, yeah, most of them, really. First strike, trample, death touch. Planeswalkers sliding down the chimney. What? Oh, I was just seeing if you were paying attention. Actually, our family do most of the things that other families do. We sing the same songs. Do you? Oh, I even have a go at White Christmas. You do, eh? And this one. This is my son's favorite. Do you know this one? Oh, I do indeed. It's a lovely theme. Come, they told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Yes. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Come, peace on earth, me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Can it be? And years from now, see, perhaps we'll see our finest gifts we bring, glory. See the day. You're singing it. You're singing a whole other song. I know, it's 2 songs at the same time. But I'm doing the drummer boy part. You can understand that. You must sing the same song as I. Peace on earth, it's... No, this is where I say pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Yes, I know. You're singing a different song altogether. It works. We're different legends. Every child must be made aware. Every child must be made to care. Care enough for his fellow man to give all the love that he can. I pray my wish will come true. I for my child and your child too. I'll play my drum for him of glory. Yes! I played my best for him. Of goodwill. Live in peace. Live in peace again. Actually, it sounds nice now. It sounds good, yes. Ba-rum-pa-pum-pum. Me and my drum. Can it be? It's a pretty thing, isn't it? Yes. Yes.
I think we got it.
If you want to contact us, you can do so on Twitter at Commanders Brew. Individually, we are
At Andy Hullbone.
and I'm at Sean Tabaris. Or send us a Gmail, commandersbrew@gmail.com.
Also, you can check out all of our decks on tappedout.net/users/commandersbrew. And you can go to patreon.com if you'd like to donate and help support the show.
And if you want to check all this out in one place, go to commandersbrew.com for all this info.